Good afternoon, everybody. In keeping with some of my previous comments about the eclectic nature of my channel, uh, I do home improvement stuff. I do obviously camping, hunting camp stuff, and in line with the hunting, I got a new piece of equipment here. Maybe somebody will be interested in learning about. So I'm gonna make a pretty quick video on it. I used to have a grinder I paid like $80 for, $85 on Amazon, and it was small and very underpowered. But I tell you what, it lasted me 10 years, and I don't know how many, I don't know, probably 6 elk through it, and maybe a dozen deer and antelope and plus I had ground beef with it and whatnot. So it actually lasted a lot longer than I expected. But this year, partway through a grind for summer sausage, it finally gave up the ghost. So I was in the market for a new grinder, and I did want to go larger, um, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And some of these machines, you can get upwards of well over $1,000, especially when you start going to Cabela's or Bass Pro or these other companies that sell meat processing equipment. And a lot of times, all you're paying for is the name. You're paying for that name tag on there, and you can find something just as good for a lot cheaper if you look around. In this particular case, um, this came off of Home Depot, and I'm gonna put my phone here. I got a screenshot of when I ordered it or what I ordered it, and hopefully it's not focusing the greatest, but you can get an idea. Anyway, that's a screenshot from HomeDepot.com, and like the screen said, it's $326 and plus tax, sales tax, but it's free shipping, and that's pretty important for this thing because it is heavy. Um, it's rated at 1100 watts, and it equals out to about 1 horsepower, and it's a size 22 grinder. Like I said, the one I'm coming out of, the one that just broke last week, I think it was a number 8. So this thing is probably twice the size of that other one. I think these are measured in like centimeters, and I think this is like a 22 centimeter, so it's over twice the size of that number 8. And hopefully things are going to go a lot quicker and a lot smoother with this grinder. And this thing should just chew through the meat. But getting into the what comes with it, obviously the instruction book, which is right here. But if you've ever used a grinder, everything's pretty well straightforward. Now, the improvement over my $80 grinder that I operated for 10 years is that this thing is all stainless steel. There's no cast aluminum to it whatsoever. I think even the blades are stainless steel, and the grinder plates. Now, unfortunately, it only comes with 2 grinder plates. This is the large, and this is the medium. It does not come with the fine, so I'll probably track one of those down. Sometimes I like to do a finer grind on my meat for the difference in textures between the coarser grinds and the finer grinds in my sausage. This is the I guess you call it the throat, and it looks like it's definitely cast, but it looks like stainless steel. There is definite heft to it, and this is the part that goes inside. And by the way, it's a Barton brand, if we didn't catch that before. And we'll flip this around. Now this thing here probably weighs 40 pounds, no exaggeration. So just this unit this part of it by itself is about 40 pounds. And this is gonna go, the throat's gonna go attach like like this, and there's a small indentation right there, and we're going to line that up with this locking screw, and just doesn't have to be super tight, just to make sure that it's not going to move. We can try to give it a little twist, make sure that the end of that screw went into that dimple on this throat here. And that's pretty important. I haven't ground with this yet, and we're gonna grind some meat on video, and that'll be the first grind I've ever done with it. But I have started it already, and it's important to make sure that this is tight because this thing's got a lot of torque to it. I think it's a direct drive, and the motor is a very low speed but high torque, and it'll torque jump when you first start on. You know, the whole thing will jump with the torque in either direction. It's got a forward and reverse single speed. Anyway, this is the auger. I guess you'd call it an auger. I can look at the directions and get the exact name for it, but auger's pretty good. Anyway, this auger's got a machined groove right here that's going to fit over the part that coming right off the motor. Like I said, this is direct drive. I don't think there's a reduction. There might be a reduction gear in there, but the way it looks like a direct drive to me. So I don't think there's going to be any gears in there to strip out, which is what happened with my other one, by the way. I told you it broke. The gears stripped out on it. And we'll go ahead and, what the hell? We'll go ahead and throw the course plate in there. You can see the difference in the holes. We'll pop that on there. And it comes with 2 blades, by the way. 2 spare blades, or a blade and a spare. And like I said, as far as I know, these are stainless steel as well. They're fairly sharp. They could stand to be run over a stone, though. These are real easy to sharpen, by the way, if you don't know that. And the sharper they are, the better your grinder works. So we'll go ahead and put this plate in. And then this is the retaining nut. It threads onto the top here. And just tighten it down, but you don't have to torque it terribly tight. The other thing that this grinder comes with are stuffing horns for stuffing sausage casings. I've got a separate stuffer that I use for that, but it's a nice little addition. I've never tried to stuff with a grinder before, so I don't know anything about it. I hear it's kind of a pain in the butt because you got to always be mashing meat into the throat, but like I said, I've got a stuffer for that already. And this is the feed tray. This just slips in there like that, and that's basically it. It's all together. It's ready to go. So I get my catch pan here, and I've got me some elk that I'm going to run through there. And I haven't cut it down any. Might have to. That's a pretty big throat, though. I don't know. Now I might be able to feed that in. I'd tell you what, you couldn't do that with that other grinder. You'd have to cut this basically into stew meat, into chunks to fit that in. And you know, you're gonna look at that piece of meat there, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, why is he grinding that?" Well, it's because I want to use this grinder, and it's the only thing I had defrosted. All my shank meat and whatnot is still frozen. So I'm just going to grind this up and make summer sausage with it. Been having real good success with summer sausage, and everybody's liking it really well. So anyway, where's my plunger at? And I don't know where my plunger is. There's a plunger that you use to force the meat down into the throat if you have the need to do so. That way you're not using your fingers to do it. Let me try to get around this camera without jostling it too much. Hopefully I've been in frame. It was a little low. looking at my cabinet. Not the, oh, there it is. It's in the dish drainer. It was in the dish drainer because I did wash these parts. Should have done an unboxing video, but I had it delivered to my office, so I was kind of in a hurry to take a look at it because it was so heavy. I mean, I'll be honest with you, for $326, this is better than I was expecting. Like I said, you can go upwards of well over $1,000 for Cabela's or some other name brand machine, and you know, it's not the first time I would have been fooled from an online retailer, even Home Depot. But yeah, I'm very pleased with it so far without having run it. It's definitely everything it was advertised to be. It's a number 22, and I think that's like a 22, like I said before, I think 22 centimeter is the dimensions across that throat there. So without saying anything else, let's go ahead and turn it on forward, and you're going to see this thing jump. See, it's got a lot of torque to it, and we're going to go ahead and yeah, there it goes. Just took a second to get it to bite. It's not real loud. It's definitely quieter than my other one. Look at that. Holy moly. It's dumped. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how much better this is than my other one. Let's do this again. This is neat. Well, there you go. I mean, you know, I didn't even have to force it in there. And this is, like I said, this is the coarse grind. So I'll grind like 50% of it back through the medium. That way it gives me a textural difference in the meat. Now another thing I got here is I got some beef fat. Now beef fat has kind of been on the more difficult side for me to grind. I think this though, I want to go through the medium plate. So we'll go ahead and unscrew the nut here. Man, did you see how fast I went through there? Wow. And you know, you can try to sit there and dig this out, but what I like to do is I just jog it forward, and it kind of works. There we go. Kind of works its way out. And make sure that that's still seated. Here's my medium plate. Back on, and first thing, I'm gonna run some of this fat, or I'm gonna run this fat through. Or no, let me go ahead and try to rerun some of this coarse ground first. And the reason I'm gonna do that is that way I just mix it all up, and I got more meat that I'll do off of camera, you know, because you've already got an idea how this thing just screams through this meat. But so I'll go ahead and get this where I want it to be before I run the fat. So you can see there's quite a bit of textural difference, but you know, I can already tell you how much easier this is with this machine, because if I'd have done this with my smaller one, you'd have to sit there and really put some pressure on it to get it to even feed down in there on a second grind like this, to even get it to feed down in there. And then you'd be pushing it, and the pressure, you know, would be forcing it to mushroom back out of the top here, and this is just heads and shoulders above the other machine. So we're going to try some of this fat now. There it goes. Oh yeah. We'll just go ahead and dump all this in the tray. This is a pound of beef fat. And I always like to do the finest grind I can. Well, in this case, it's a medium grind with the fat, because I want, the smaller it is, the better it mixes with the rest of the meat, or with the meat itself. But yeah. I ain't even having to push it now that it's going real good. So there it is. Go ahead and set it down. One of the things, I should have made some ice. I didn't think about it. But one of the things I learned from watching another YouTuber, unfortunately I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's like a pro tip that when you're grinding meat like this, and especially when you're making sausage, you're going to add water to it anyways. So when you're done grinding, one of the things that's good to do is drop some ice down in there. And what that ice does is it actually cleans this out, because you always get residual meat and fat stuck in the tube here, right at the head. And that ice, once you grind it up, it forces all that meat out. So you're not wasting meat and fat. You know, all that costs money. Ice is free, or, you know, cheap enough that you can consider it free. And so that'll clean your throat out and makes cleanup easier later when you're ready to break it all down. So basically that's it. Hope you liked the video. I'm definitely liking this machine. As always, if you have any questions or comments, shoot them to me and I'll answer them. But that's it. Thanks for watching.